All right. We have hit the midway point of the week here. Live for the next 2 hours. And at least we have something of value tonight in the NBA. And,
well, we hope.
Well, yeah.
At
least there's something that's bringing us to the TV set. There is a look. I'll tell you, this is how big. Two things. One, something just came out now because unprovoked and without even being prodded, Adam Schefter decided to just talk about Deshaun Watson, so everybody goes crazy. But Schefter himself has had to correct and clear up so many different things that he said on both TV and radio on Twitter. I'm not reporting this is just what makes sense, or I'm not reporting this is just my thought of what could happen. Right.
Yeah, and you know what that is, Eytan. That's a slow week in sports.
Exactly.
ESPN's producers are like, dude, you got to say something this week because we need programming and we need stuff to talk about and to argue over. So just put something out. You're not reporting it, but you're just, the thought crossed my mind that
it just
Deshaun Watson, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden they're talking about it on First Take after they get done talking about Stephen A. Smith's latest insensitive remark. That's the way it goes.
Purpose, by the way.
What's that?
That was also done on purpose.
Right. Oh, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was always taught by you guys, the both of you always say, hey, if it's not concrete news, if it's not something that you can really put your name behind, then just leave it alone. If somebody else reports, just leave it alone. So at this point, I'm not just going to go out making stuff up.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can give you like a player's point of view about it, but at this point, there's nothing that can go on with Deshaun right now. Nothing. Until everything culminates on what's going to happen in court. It makes never mind if you say Deshaun Watson. Nothing at all, because he's not doing anything right now. He's not going to be allowed into the NFL right now. So, come on, man. Just leave it alone.
It's really difficult to do any – that's what I'm saying. That's exactly why this doesn't even get looked at by any means. The other thing, though, that I am interested in, and I don't know where you guys look at it, but I just put something out now for Philly Voice this week. And McMullen kind of hinted on something broader on his piece yesterday, or maybe it was Monday. But there is, I went to Matt Mullen and the editor there, right, at Philly Voice, and was trying to get something on the Eagles, right? Trying to get an angle or something, just because I knew that's always what hits. And he's like, dude, this Simmons stuff is through the roof right now. And I think, honestly, this is the biggest story right now. Even if we don't necessarily feel it or see it or talk about it, it just seems like, as far as consumption is concerned, everybody is on oh, man, you could get this guy, you could get that guy, let's trade Simmons for this. We've reached that point of the Simmons conversation, not if they should trade Ben Simmons, fellas, but who,
when, and who.
Back.
Yeah,
yes,
right.
Yes, and that, the trade machine and all this other stuff, then, you get a week of radio content on the trade machine.
Yeah, no question. I guess it was Mark Stein is the latest guy, right? To have put something out in a newsletter or something that named a couple of teams that have interest in Ben Simmons. So it appears, if all this stuff is true, that there's some sort of reasonable market out there where at least Daryl Morey will be able to play one or two or three teams off one another and try to get something decent in return, right?
No question. We're still talking about three-time All-Star. So his value right now is higher than it's higher than what we think, because we're thinking in the aspect of, all right, if he'd just dunked one basketball, they could still be playing right now. But we, at this point, we have a lot less. We think of him a lot less value because we went through the BS for the for the last couple of years.
Right, we've seen it over and over and over.
Right. So outside of this, they haven't seen it.
We see the warts up close, Barrett. You know what I mean? We know where all of them are.
This is the biggest story in the NBA. The ESPYs were ripping him. You don't think that other GMs are aware that he's afraid to shoot, that he won't go to the free throw line? Look, it doesn't mean that he's damaged goods.
Yeah.
But his value dropped in the postseason.
It did. But I think what Barrett is saying, and I agree with him, there's still value. You know what I mean? It's not like where this thing
Yeah,
has
yeah,
totally
absolutely.
bottomed out. Now, maybe they have to throw in some sort of sports psychologist or psychiatrist along with him in the deal. You know, like they give a couple of second-round picks, a future first, a sports psychiatrist, you know, Maxey and something else, and maybe they get the deal done.
I'm telling you, there's one trade that makes the most sense, and the irony is that from Anthony Gargano to 50 other people that would call us on a daily basis leading up to that draft, I got stuff that I hadn't heard since I worked with Mad Dog about, you don't know this, you don't know that, you don't watch basketball. But the guy who they should have taken all along, and we would never have been in this situation, was the guy taken next, was Brandon Ingram, who for the last 2 years is scoring 24 points a game in the NBA.
Yeah.
Who, mind you, is attainable, and I'll tell you how.
And you, my friend, are caught in the middle.
The Middle starts now on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry May.
All right, now joined by Sports Map Radio, of course, live throughout on the JAKIB Media YouTube page. So we invite you to be a part of the program, to like, to subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit the notification bell so you're not straggling in 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes. We two things that caught my eye. I don't all the things that caught your eyes. That's fine. You can just stop and interrupt me and all. We don't really like lay out a huge plan of what's going on, but clearly in front of us tonight, Game 4 of the NBA Finals, and Harry and I were talking about this yesterday. So now the three of us on the show with the stream and everyone behind it. There's an interesting coincidence that has matched up with tonight that I think the NBA should take full advantage of. And then what we just opened up with, which is Ben Simmons, Mark Stein. It's national, it's local here in Philly. The Simmons. I'll just say this. You can easily, I think, work a 3-team trade where New Orleans is getting somebody of offensive value back. The third team is getting Ben Simmons. And you here in Philadelphia return Brandon Ingram, because I don't think that New Orleans would want to put Ben Simmons and Zion on the floor at the same time.
No.
Because you lose a ton of shooting.
Right.
So that's fine. Even if they move somebody else or they get another player, another shooter, that's fine. But I think Brandon Ingram is a name that hasn't been talked about, I don't know, at all or enough, fellas, that fits the perfect need around Embiid. He can put it on the floor. He can shoot. He's a poor man's Butler in that sense of he can take over if you need to. And all of that, it's not Damian Lillard. This is not some pipe dream of Bradley Beal. I think he's attainable.
Well, you're right, man. That is a pipe dream. I think we're going to get Damian Lillard because we don't have enough, horses in the stable to garner somebody like him. We have to be honest. Do we send, is a team that's in a rebuilding mode? Is that the type of team that you look for Ben Simmons? Or do you find somebody that's already a contender that can use his services just defensively? They already have a main, unit of scorers in there. What type of team is really going to want Ben Simmons at this point?
Well,
I mean, defense is deep. I understand defense, but you got to score. It's a scoring league.
Right.
That's the only problem, man. If we were to be able to pull something off like that, I would love it. Ingram would be a perfect complement to what what the 76ers are trying to do. He can come up, be that great third guy in the mix to light it up a little bit, and plus, he's a long and rangy type of guy.
Right.
He wouldn't hurt you too bad on defense. So
no,
yeah, that'd be a great trade.
Not going to kill you at all.
I'd be cool with that.
And look, I think, honestly, I think you can get back something even more. Like, clearly, you're going to get back something more than you would if you got Bradley Beal or Damian Lillard. That's not to say that's a bad deal. Like, we're in the break now for a couple of minutes. So it's like, shit, you got Damian Lillard back. That's a great. But it's almost like you want to get a 1A and that's it. And maybe really hamper because you still have Harris with money. Look, Brandon Ingram makes money, but he's not Ben Simmons money.
Right.
So,
well, let me ask you, what would you guys think about a Paul George? Would that be an even trade?
He's
Paul
not
George
coming east. He's not.
Just get it out, take it off the table.
Yeah, he's not coming east. He's not.
I think George would want out in order to be dealt, and I don't know if he does want out. And look, man, if Paul George is struggling to deal with what's around him in LA.
Yes, that's why I said that.
Be layoff P and not show up in the playoffs in Philadelphia.
No,
Right.
Danny Green gonna have to step up for him like we've never seen before.
no
Well,
question.
according to this Mark Stein thing, in addition to the Minnesota Timberwolves, which we talked about a couple of weeks ago, the Indiana Pacers, Cleveland Cavaliers, Sacramento Kings, and the Toronto Raptors are all considered as possible suitors.
I heard the Thunder also. The third.
The Thunder's a place where you can park contracts because they've got cap space.
That's what I'm saying.
Do you know what? So they could be involved as a third team.
Yeah, well, they don't have anything worth. Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. But what type of value could we get from them? Nothing.
Well, that's
nobody wants anything from them.
they have draft picks and they have the ability to take on
contracts. Yeah,
so they're really valuable. Like Oklahoma City now becomes a major player in that 3-team scenario with New Orleans. Where you can take somebody, if it's from here, not really many options here, New Orleans as well, and either move or, again, let's say the Pelicans are parting ways with Ingram and they're not getting Simmons back in that 3-team trade. They're going to want assets. They're going to want, like, Pelicans are not necessarily, hey, we need somebody right now to put us over the top, win now. Pelicans could easily kind of continue to grow with assets.
Draft picks.
Well,
yeah.
So that's where I think you're right on the surface. It's like, come on, Oklahoma City. But that's where I think you can get a little bit of value.
Well, it wasn't but what, 3 or 4 years ago that, the 76ers was that team.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how many times have we become a salary dump for the Kings? So I don't know, man. I don't know how you could really pull this off, like you said, without a 3-team deal.
Ingram makes money, but it's not Simmons money, right?
This is The Middle on the SportsMap Radio Network.
No.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the
It's a little
O'Reilly
more,
Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett,
158 million.
Mays.
Hey, I just remember, man, this is back. Barrett, you might have still been at the station as well. I want to say, was this when the Pope came or no? Was that after? What year was Simmons drafted? Do you remember?
Was
5 years ago?
16? 2016?
2016 it was.
2016, I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So what's that now? 6 years ago?
5 years.
5 years,
5 years ago. Was that when the Pope came?
I have no idea.
Remember when they shut the city down? And that's when I was down in AC for like a week because our old program director, Matt Nahagian, decided that nobody was going to be able to get in and out from the city to the studio. So they put us up in hotels. And Barrett, were you not down there?
I think I was down there. Why do
Did you and I not do a show together down there at the Trop?
We did. That's right.
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Right, yeah.
Wait a second. Now, again, I may be conflating stuff, but I believe that we did a show down there at the Trop, and that was one of the shows in which we were technically, I was still on the show, but we were filling in because Anthony was off. So we were filling in for Anthony Gargano technically in the morning show.
Yep.
And that's when I believe, because I remember I had all these printouts of Brandon Ingram and all these advanced stats about what he was doing in college. And that's when like Violations, Greg, and all these guys were piling up on me saying, you don't know your ass from your elbow, Simmons. Everybody was Kevin Cobb infatuated with Ben Simmons.
Yeah.
And I just find it ironic that of all things now we've come back to it full circle where Simmons could be swapped for a full people Brandon.
Well, and also remember you kind of almost switched me in a sense because I wanted to score. You know what I mean? I wanted to score, and at the time they said Ben can do everything. Ben can do this. Ben can chew bubblegum and walk at the same time. Well, it seems as though he can't right now. So we're lost right now. Lost.
He can't chew bubblegum and shoot a free throw at the same time. that we do know. But you talk about this Ingram, it's an enticing name, and he doesn't make quite Ben Simmons money. Still's got a pretty big contract, but
right.
Do you think that the Pelicans would really want to get rid of him, or is that known that they are shopping Ingram?
Yeah.
Well, they just gave him a king's ransom for AD. to bring him in. I mean, they brought him in for that's a deal in which I thought they lost in that deal. You know what I mean? I thought they lost, but I mean, Anthony Davis leaves the franchise, goes to with King James, because he willed this to happen. They sent Brandon Ingram over. I thought they really won. I don't think they're going to let him go. Yeah.
Well, here's the thing, though.
Ball. Yeah.
New Orleans is not necessarily a beacon for success, right?
No.
Right.
And they have money tied in, so you do have to look at the enticement of moving on from a guy. And again, you're going to have to get something of value back. New Orleans does not have anybody remotely close to Ben Simmons when it comes to being able to defend and lock down the perimeter. So what they may be doing is saying, well, we can get scoring, especially if we can get assets. And look, there are other people out there that you can tie in if that's why I say a third team in this is essential. But I'm not saying that Brandon Ingram is upset or the Pelicans are, frustrated with him. But look, let's be honest. It's Brandon Ingram on the New Orleans Pelicans. It's not like Damian Lillard or Steph Curry. Like, Brandon Ingram can be pried from New Orleans if you make the right deal or two. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
Is that I don't think, like, New Orleans is not good enough, I think, to have anybody outside of Zion untouchable.
That's untouchable. Yeah.
Well, I'm saying the same thing about the Toronto Raptors also. I mean, we all laugh like, this is a travesty to even say this, but we were talking about, Kyle Lowry for a Ben Simmons. I mean, everybody was like, oh, no, at this point, hindsight looking back, that might have been a great deal. Kyle Lowry for Ben Simmons, a facilitator, a scorer, leader on the field, on the court. He might have worked out a little better than Ben being out there.
Yeah, if you look back at what you get for a trade in the offseason, I think in season it's something to look at. Here's where I would say from what we heard, it seemed to be that there was a position of not desperation, but there seemed to be a position of taking advantage of the Philadelphia 76ers, like trying to look to trade Ben Simmons. And from what we heard, and this isn't like what I heard, it's like what we heard, all of us, the Raptors wanted more than what Morey was willing to give up. So that's where I need to see what happens now, right? Does that make sense, Barrett? Where it's Absolutely. Like, I agree with you. If they get back, I don't know, fill in the blank. If they get back whoever it may be, right? I'll just pick somebody random, Terry Rozier, and that's it. And that's all you get back is Terry Rozier after a Ben Simmons trade. Then you look back and say, you know what, Daryl Morey, you probably should have overpaid for Kyle Lowry.
Yeah.
You underplayed your hand here. But if they get back Brandon Ingram and a big that can play from a third team, then we may look at it in a different light and say, all right, yeah, we would have liked Kyle Lowry, but you didn't give up multiple draft picks at that. Does that make sense? Like, I hate to say that we're walking a middle ground in this thing, but I think we kind of need to wait and see what they get back for this trade, because if not, then you are 100% right. And then we open up that door of, damn, you could have had Lowry, and you knew you were going to get Lowry back.
Right. I mean, as a city, we're not ready to pounce just yet, because I mean, I think we still have a lot of faith in management right now with the 76ers when it pertains to, where Ben Simmons is going, simply because Ben has kind of played his way out of the city. So since he's played his way out of the city, I think we are looking towards them to make the right decision. But was the right decision back then Kyle Lowry, though? That's the only way I'm saying.
I think we have some faith here, and I don't know, it's not blind faith, but we have faith because of who the general manager is.
Yes,
now. And a guy who is, has been known to make trades and big trades and, bring in big names.
Right.
I mean, he's a big game hunter, this guy. And he's got a resume. So I think that's what sort of you sit here and say, well, I don't know where he's going to go, but I trust this guy's going to get something done, and we're going to probably be okay with it.
Well, at this point, we're looking at his roster that's playing in the finals. That's his roster. He brought in CP3. That's his. Those are his guys. I mean, that was one of his guys he sent from Houston to the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, he saw a little bit of all right, this guy can play still. Got him out of there, sent him to the Suns. Now the Suns are,
reaping the benefits.
Yeah, reaping the benefits of him.
Now, the Philly Godfather has just posted a big move, a futures move.
Uh-oh. Is this Oklahoma 8-1?
No, it's a football NFL move.
What?
Cleveland. Yeah. Is it Cleveland?
No, it is not.
I knew he was all over Cleveland.
It's an NFC team.
An NFC team.
It's Dallas. An NFC East team.
Dallas.
Washington football team.
Washington football team.
Yeah.
Now, NFC Championship and the Super Bowl.
What do they have it at?
The NFC Championship is plus 2,500 and the Super Bowl is plus 6,600.
Okay, well, that's dropped because they must have got in 6,600. They must have got in like 2 weeks ago. Because to win it now, it's been down. I want to say in the 4K.
Well, he just put it up on Twitter, so I don't know when he placed it, but he's
5,500. So it's middled out from what I thought. I thought it was high 4K, but it's at 5,500. And you said it was what for initially
for the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I'm just talking Super Bowl.
He put 6,600.
66. So it's dropped 1,100 points since he's bought that ticket. Now, I'm not saying he's moved the line, but somebody moved that line by 1,100 points, Harry.
Right.
In the middle of July.
Yeah.
All right.
Slow time.
Seriously, somebody's firing right now. Yeah. Like me, man, I tell you, you guys got to pay attention. All right. 6 to 8. You know, I leave this show and then I have access to these people that I don't have access to during the day here. So opinions change. Like I was all over that All-Star game last night because I got a nice little nugget.
You were?
One, I didn't watch it. I was just saying from a betting standpoint. One, I want you to understand this, okay? One, it wasn't last night. It sure as hell wasn't last night. One of the last 15 now, including last night, All-Star games, has gone over double digits, has hit double digits.
Right.
One of 15.
So you take the under. Yeah.
Yes. And I took the under with the AL, and then I just watched back. No Russian ping pong last night. Look, I got to tell you, man, you know, you can learn a lot from poker players when it comes to betting, right? They will tell you all the time about why it's, what's the term? VPIP, right? That's what they use.
VPIP?
VPIP, right. Do you know that?
No.
It's basically like, here, let me get up the actual voluntary putting money in pot, which means that you choose to put the chips in the middle, right? I'm not coming to Barrett with a sheet and saying, hey, I need 10 picks from you. Pick these games right now. That's what betting is all about, right? It's you are voluntarily placing your wager. Nobody's putting a gun to your head and saying, you better bet Velezhnikov tonight at 2 a.m. in order to win this match. I mean, maybe that's happening in Chechnya, but it's not happening here with us, right? So that's the whole point of it is it's all about finding the there was no value in ping pong last night, gentlemen.
No, but there's only been one All-Star game where there's been double-digit runs scored since 2005.
Well, that's right. That's 15 now. One of the last 15. So coming into it last night, you had 1 of 14. 1 of 14.
Right.
Man, I got to show you this graphic.
And the whole thing about it, what was it, 11 and a half, 11 and a half, I think was the total.
Yeah, but a lot of places you could get the under 10 and a half at really good money, at really good positive money. And just based on that trend alone, 10, you still hit with 10. So look, we don't need Stu on that one. That one was an easy one.
But I was talking about this with one of the kids in our bag room last night. He likes to place a wager every once in a while, and he's like, "Man, I got to take that over." And I'm like, you know, you got to figure they're rolling out the best pitchers in the game outside of DeGrom are going to be on the hill, one inning after another, and these guys are going to just come in and throw in heat. Like that's going to mitigate any of the humidor and the altitude and all that other stuff that
absolutely
makes it advantageous to me and makes the under the play.
Yeah, the guys that are up there are the best in the business,
right?
You know what I'm saying? And they're not trying to get smoked by anybody, you know. But let me ask you guys this. When the Olympics does start, are you guys betting on anything in the Olympics?
No,
not at all.
Maybe the golf.
Why not?
Maybe the golf.
That's probably what you bet. I mean, that's probably one of the best things to bet is the Olympics. Like who's going to win the 100-yard dash or, you know, the 4x1, decathlon.
Right.
I don't know, man.
I would think that'd be huge and better.
Now, is this your NBC Sports Philly? Did you get a memo that you actually opened up in your emails after Fadul told you to look at your emails and say, hey, can you promote the Olympics, please? It's on our network.
Yeah.
Damn it, Harry.
Is that what this is?
Damn it, Harry. Damn it, Harry.
Yeah. Next thing you know, he's going to be saying, you got to subscribe to Peacock.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
But if you were subscribed to Peacock, you could watch the British Open or the Open Championship at 1 a.m. tonight.
Is that the only way I can watch it?
1 o'clock in the morning till 4 in the morning. It's on Peacock. Then it comes on the Golf Channel at 4 a.m. Eastern time.
Well,
and then it goes back on the Peacock later in the afternoon.
Okay, so I'm just going to get Peacock for this weekend and then cancel.
Oh, really? So I don't need that much. The Golf Channel gives me enough.
Yeah, because you're not changing a diaper at 2 a.m.
Exactly right.
If you were,
so you're probably up anyways.
Exactly.
That probably helps you out the most.
Oh, man, I got to tell you something. All right, I got to tell you, both of you something. The day in the life of fathering here. We'll get into this coming up. You guys are both going to be really proud of what I did with baby Teddy coming up. All right.
Yeah.
It's the middle, all here live on the JAKIB Media YouTube page. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit us with the notification bell as well so you don't miss the show. We're live and local from the Fritz and B and Cooley Law Studio. If you know someone who suffered a personal injury, contact Brian Fritz directly, a tough lawyer for a tough town. The middle, sponsored by Pure Bull Beef Jerky. Get yours now. Go to steersnacks.com. All right, we are back in 3 across the board here. Reminder, I believe, right, Jeff Parles is going to be with us today.
I don't know, but we'll have breaking news on Richard Sherman when we come back.
Oh, yeah, I did see this coming up. All right, we'll do all of that coming up next here on The Middle.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull Beef Jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Welcome to the Wildwoods, the perfect place where you can safely do everything or nothing at all. Catch a wave, take a nap, go for a drive, grab a bite. It's your vacation, and we're doing everything we can to make it a safe one. The Wildwoods. Your vacation, your way.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. Doc and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you. Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3. Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
This is a key. It's a family tree. It's a pair of wings. It's a secret handshake. And a ticket to anywhere in the world. It's more than a uniform. It's the door to a world most people only dream of. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. Try it on at GoArmy.com.
All right.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
So the kid has this thing called a pack and play, right? Barrett, I'm sure you know what that is. It's basically
Teddy.
like,
Teddy's got a pack and play. Okay.
Yeah, it's basically this. It's basically like a pop-up crib, if you will, right? Plastic, hard plastic.
Yep.
Got webbing in it, and then it holds this little like panel, if you will. You wrap a towel on that fold-out panel, and then you put him on there, and he's on his back. You know, this kid can already roll on his side. He's not even a month old yet, so he's on his back, right? And he's a baby, so he wants to eat, he wants to defecate, and he wants to be held. He doesn't really love being on his back at all. He's sleeping. So, my wife needs a couple of minutes a day, right, by herself. So I'm working upstairs watching him, and I'm thinking, at some point, need to start playing some music, introduce him to sounds, right, outside of just my voice, God forbid, and my wife and his grandparents. So I go to the search on YouTube on the TV and start pumping in classical music, thinking, well, look, I'll play some Mozart, Vivaldi, whatever it may be. Classical music is meant to, as a child at least, really open up the mind.
Oh, Vivaldi.
Vivaldi, the thumbs. The thumbs on Vivaldi. So in my previous search for classical music pops up Sam Spence.
NFL. The NFL Films guy.
So I let that sucker run for about 90 minutes yesterday while my wife was up doing shower, taking care of herself. And it was just, and she comes down. She's like, this isn't classical music.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Yes, it
is. All done by classical instruments.
That's it.
And you know what?
I had that CD.
He wasn't
I
crying.
wore that out. No,
he wasn't crying. No, he was, he wasn't bopping to it, but just
Ba-dum.
the time.
Ba-dum.
That's the one.
Look, I would think she'd be loud, just like Joey B said. Not Joey B, but Play Action Real says. I'm surprised he wouldn't Woo Tang.
Not yet. No, I can say that when he could understand it. That's the thing. When he could start singing.
Shame on it.
Yeah, that's the difference, man.
Oh man, I had that CD when it came out in the early '90s. I wore that sucker out, man.
It was great, wasn't it?
Yeah,
man?
it was great.
Like
those were my college days, man.
That back
was
then?
my college. Oh yeah, man. That college was great back when even at Kansas State. Like Kansas State is like they put a university in the middle of a cornfield.
Right.
They say, here, go to school.
That's
here.
also called Shippensburg.
Yeah, or
But look, what the difference is, you guys at least had hills and stuff like that, streams, and all you see in Kansas. In fact, your dog could run away 20 miles down the field, and you could still see it. That's how flat it is out there. There's nothing out there, bro.
Yeah.
I remember my first time going to practice. First of all, it's the extremes of all the weather. Extremes. Like when it's hot, it's like 105 degrees. When it's cold, it's like it's -5. Man, it's like 100 degrees out there. We're going to practice, and my boy that I came in with, Andre Coleman, he has a citation, one of those old citations. This is like maybe a 78 or 80 citation.
It's a Chevy.
Oh, it was
Chevy
horrible,
Citation.
Man.
That was an ugly car.
It was like a bubble. You know what I mean? A Jetson bubble. That's how I look, man. So we're going to practice. And it's so hot, and it's an agriculture school, and all I smell is cow manure and sheep and hog manure.
It's like where I grew up.
Oh, it was horrible, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I can't stay here. I cannot go to school here. And I did. That's the problem. I did get used to it.
In fact, I went back to go back there every year for a golf outing, and I smell the golf course in the middle of a cornfield. I smell it. I'm like, I kind of miss this, believe it or not. Seriously.
Yeah.
Hey, the worst place I ever been to smell when I was playing football. The worst place I was when I was in Denver. Like I said, I was there before I was sent to play for Green Bay. But I'm there during camp. And it's at Northern Colorado where they have camp at.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a slaughterhouse.
Oh, yeah, they smell.
So it was so bad that everybody told me, hey, when you go there, just take, one set of clothes, like 3 sets of clothes, and then when you get through, you're just gonna have to throw them out because the smell is so bad it gets in your clothes and you can't wash it out.
Yeah,
that's how bad it smells there. And I remember that I'm like, oh my God, how can I get through this? Once I got used to it, I didn't smell it. But they say when you go home, they could smell it on you. You know what I'm saying? It's like entrenched into your body, bro.
Now, it's not as bad as a slaughterhouse, but something else that smells bad is if you live near one or drive by a paper mill.
I heard about that.
Oh,
I heard about that.
Awful.
It's
just awful.
Why is that?
I don't know. I guess the process of making the paper from, wood and whatever else they use, it just smells like it's
Greeley. That's right. It wasn't Greeley.
Yeah, Greeley, Colorado is where that is. Yeah.
It was
now we got some breaking news here, and it's not good regarding one of the NFL's better players over the last decade or so,
He's
Richard
also a
Sherman.
free agent, by the
Yes,
way.
right.
Key in this story here.
Yeah, because he's no longer with the Niners. There was talk of him going back to Seattle. Well, he's in Seattle. Well, he may still own a home there. He was booked at 6:08 a.m. Pacific time at the King County Correctional Facility in Seattle for what they're calling, quote, burglary, domestic violence, according to public records, and he was not given bail. Denied.
What?
Yeah.
I'm thinking you saying he was going to go back to Seattle to play for the Seattle Seahawks.
No.
Seattle's calling at this point.
Oh, that's huge.
Yeah,
What is going on?
He might be out. It looks like, man, same thing as we were waiting this whole thing with Deshaun Watson. Now we have Richard Look, it's the worst time to get in trouble. Not that it's a good time to get in trouble, but man. All right, we're back in 3 on the network, still live here on the JAKIB Media YouTube page.
With a blue.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. That could be bad.
Now, I don't see anything here on Schefter's Twitter page about anything about Deshaun. Where did you see Schefter? Was he just on like Get Up or something talking about it?
No, it was on the Fanatic.
Oh,
which is even more of a reason to not listen to it because he understands his audience and he was unprovoked.
Okay.
So it's like,
just throwing this out there.
Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. I mean, come on, we've all seen that before, where it's somebody understands their audience and it's just throwing it out. There's nothing concrete at all to it.
No, it's basically kind of what we've been talking about months ago, that the Eagles are really in a great position if he becomes, available to play, that they could get him.
Correct.
I mean, anybody can figure that out, right?
Right.
They got possibly three first-round draft picks next year.
I know it, man. I know it.
Yeah.
It's wild, isn't it?
Well, at this point, man, I'll take anything. But I mean, he's like I think he's like a year out from doing anything as it pertains to football. At least a year out. I mean, it's, I can see if it was like maybe 3 or 4, but we're talking about over 20.
Right.
People saying something. And at this point, Goodell is not going to get any egg on his face for that. He's not going to make the same mistakes he made in the past.
Yeah, there's been some, I think there's definitely some more awareness.
Right. Absolutely.
And look, to be fair, people aren't letting the NFL now. Again, to what extent? But it seems like maybe the better way to say that is, it looks like the NFL is more conscious about people caring about their shit, whereas before the NFL just be like, we don't care, you're going to watch anyway.
Right.
We're going to watch anyway, but at least they're trying to appease the people who are yelling and screaming about something.
Absolutely. I mean, it's AB, he turned his life around. I'm glad he did, but that was almost a nightmare for Goodell.
Thanks to Tom Brady.
Right. Thanks to Tom Terrific.
Yeah.
Had him at his house, not eating strawberries, whatever it took to get him out there. And he produced.
Mm-hmm.
So is he back next year? That's what I want to know.
Boy, why not throw $100 on the Washington football team, right?
On the Sportsman.
This is the way.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
Real quick, I just wanted to go back to something we just talked about with the Philly Godfather dropping whatever money he did on the ticket for Washington at $6,600. Is the NFL really open, you think? Like, we don't know what's going to happen with Aaron Rodgers. Let's just, for the purposes of this conversation, say he's back in Green Bay. Deshaun Watson, let's say for the purposes of this conversation,
doesn't play.
Yes, out for the year. And everything else is pretty much static, right? Brady's back with the same team pretty much across the board. Dak Prescott is back. Lamar Jackson in Baltimore are back. You know, all these things that are constant. Mahomes and the Chiefs look healthy, right? At least we anticipate for the season. So anybody can get hurt at any moment. But I feel like last year, I don't know if this is just the Bucs have inserted themselves in the small group of we can win, or if maybe the NFL is a little wider and maybe the Kansas City Chiefs aren't this team that we pegged them to win 5 of 6 after Mahomes and Reed got that. Is it wide open? And well, look, before you answer that, wide open doesn't mean, hey, the Philadelphia Eagles.
No.
Right? I'm just saying in general, like, could Washington theoretically win 10 games this year, host a first-round playoff game, and find a way to make it into the Super Bowl?
Yes.
I don't think it's impossible.
Right.
I really don't.
That's worth $100 bet to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, and what makes me think that is you look at them on paper, defensively, they're going to be so tough. And defense wins Super Bowls. Defense won this last Superdome. Tom Terrific didn't really win it.
Right.
The running game, but Tampa's defense shut down.
Mahomes, yeah.
I mean, he couldn't do anything. He was getting, pushed out the pocket. Both linebackers were covering Kelsey like, they were, flypaper. I mean, they just defensively, they won the battles, the individual battles. They won more individual battles than the Chiefs did. And that's how they won the game. Now you had, Shaq Barrett rushing the passer. Teams are starting to follow those type of game plans. Once they see success, it's a copycat league.
Yeah.
So everybody now is going to start getting these super fast linebackers to cover tight ends.
Not the Eagles.
Like
no,
the Eagles won't be doing that. But yeah, I mean, if you look at the rest of the NFC outside of Tampa Bay, who's running it back, I mean, Green Bay with Aaron Rodgers back is obviously a candidate. The Rams, I think, are going to be good with Stafford.
Right.
Seattle's always a threat. San Francisco is going to be back, at least healthy, a lot more healthy than they were. I mean, their defense was devastated with injuries.
Oh, no question.
And it depends, what their quarterback is. Garoppolo, the guy, or do they end up going, starting Lance eventually? But I think they're going to be good. So, the NFC South outside of Tampa. I mean, what else you got? New Orleans is in a sort of a changing of the guard. Obviously, Carolina's will be improved, although I don't think they're a playoff team.
Right.
No, but I think Carolina could win 7 games this year.
I think they could win around 7 or 8 games.
I think here's the thing. I think we have to give two benefits. I hate to say benefit of the doubt, but 2 benefits to New Orleans. I think Sean Payton still has a ton of talent around the quarterback position and is a good enough coach to understand that he can't ask Jameis Winston to throw the ball 50 times a game. Also, Jameis was horrific when it came to throwing interceptions that last year he started. He also threw a lot of touchdowns. So there is something there where he's boom bust.
Yeah. What do you have, 30 touchdowns and 30 interceptions or something?
Which I think if you corral that and you get 25 touchdowns, 18 interceptions this year, that's a winning formula for me. Like, Jameis Winston doesn't hurt you. He's not the reason you lose games. He's just moving the offense down the field. And look, they do have some guys you can throw to downfield, Smith and some others. I'm just saying, Like, I don't think New Orleans, to your point about changing the guard, I wouldn't say New Orleans is out of the playoff picture just because Winston starts. He runs with Taysom Hill, all bets are off.
Well, I mean, I think that's going to go. They give him $100 million contract, even though it's, it's on paper it's but it's not really $100 million. But still, I think he's going to go with Taysom.
Oh my God.
But I think their defense, their defense is going to be good. Davenport's back. Jordan's back. They got they got Jenkins back there. Malcolm's gonna, even though he's old, he's gonna get those guys together. Marshawn Lattimore, still a really good, Marcus Williams, a good safety. Offensively, I mean, you still got Alvin Kamara. You got Michael Thomas. They still have some guys that can move around and make some plays. And plus, that offensive line is really good, really, really good. In fact, the kid Ruiz, from Michigan, he's actually from Camden and went to Camden High. Is starting at right guard for him. They got one of the best tackles in there. Yeah, he's one of the best guards. He just signed a like $70 million deal, something like that, to stay there. So they have the bones to be a really good team, a really, really good team. So you can't count them out. You can't count them out. Sean's a pretty smart guy.
And then you go to the AFC outside of obviously Kansas City and Buffalo. I mean, Cleveland is a team that could
compete.
They could.
Yep.
Baltimore, if they can figure out, Lamar Jackson in the playoffs and a way to get him going, that's a possibility. Who else? Who am I
San
missing?
Diego.
That's right. Los Angeles
Chargers.
Right.
But think about this. You also have this middle ground of teams that are good enough to beat the best on a weekly basis and disrupt, right? Like
Arizona. Arizona's one of those teams.
Like
Pittsburgh
also. Five guys that Roethlisberger can throw the football to every single time he drops back. They have a really good rookie running back we think is going to get the football, a coach who knows what the hell he's doing. And I'm not saying, hey, Pittsburgh win the Super Bowl or make it.
No, but they could disrupt. The same with the Dolphins. The Dolphins could disrupt.
Look, I think that Washington or Dallas, whoever doesn't win the division, is a prime candidate for disruption.
Yes, most definitely. You still got Seattle still waiting around there. As long as you got Wilson back there,
man, right?
Yep. So it's you're right, man. It's a lot of parity in the league right now. A lot of parity. You don't have the super teams like you had a couple of years ago. Like Kansas City used to be a super team. Now, they shown a kink in their armor. You know how to defend them now. Kelsey, all you gotta do is take Kelsey out the game. It's hard for you to go down the field consistently to the cheetah and all those other guys. If you can't dink and dunk and keep them honest, all everybody's going to do is just, drop back and wait for them to come into the zone and pick them up in the zone. So, you can defend these super teams. A team that, that's right on the outskirts of being a team like that, if you look at them, are the Bills. The Bills are a really, really good team,
they're
man.
good.
They're fundamentally sound.
And the Colts. We forgot about the Colts.
Oh,
I agree.
That's right.
Yeah.
Indy and Tennessee.
Right.
Absolutely.
Tennessee with Bud Dupree on that defense now.
Right.
I tell you, the addition of Julio Jones helps Derrick Henry out, I think, more so than anybody on that team.
Immensely, yes. And then, I hate to say it, man, but Deshaun, went out there with a quarterback that's pretty good also, man. He's with the Rams now. And, like it or not, Matthew Stafford is a hell of a quarterback, man. He's out of that situation.
You're right.
Now he's got a really good coach, an offensive coach.
Exactly, So, you got Deshaun there. You got Cooper Kupp. They have guys that can catch it, man. Plus, their running game's pretty good, too. Cam Akers can run the rock. So I'm loving this, man.
Did they lose Higbee, or is he still there?
I think Higbee is still there. Okay. Tyler Higbee, he's still the starting tight end. He's still that guy, man.
Oh, no, it was the Chargers. I know they lost Henry. Who did they replace? They replaced Henry with Jared Cook. That's what it was. Okay. That's where it was the other LA team. But no, you're right. I mean, Stafford has solid weapons around him. Cam Akers is going to get a lot of touches now. He's going to be the guy you can throw to him as well. The Rams, as down as I am on their head coach, I think it's gotten to the point where even he can't screw this up from an underachievement standpoint. No, look, they're always good, but I mean, like this. All right, if it's not the PGF Washington ticket, the Rams at plus 1,300, there's no real value there, right? We put $100 on that. You're not making much really back as you would if you hit that other one, that big one with Washington. But I mean, is it worth it to make really make $1,300 right now in July? It's probably not worth it to me, is it?
Right. That's tough.
It's like I could see the Rams winning the Super Bowl, but is it worth playing value on that now at 1,300 versus like who's another team? All right. Green Bay is 1,700 right now. Don't you kind of have to take that?
Yeah.
Because the bet is lined up with the belief that Rodgers
that he's not going to be there.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, that's why everybody was loving Denver so much. Denver was getting a lot of hype because everybody was saying that that's probably the logical destination for Aaron Rodgers if he doesn't play in Green Bay this year.
Although Rodgers did say he's gonna see how it all shuffles out. I mean, he now understands. They're playing hardball also. So both guys, both the Packers GM and him are playing hardball. So this is going to be kind of good because camp is just 2 weeks away. Can you believe that training camp is 2 weeks away?
I hate wishing away the summer, but I'm wishing away the summer.
Right.
At this point, man, the weather, everything else with it, just let's go.
Now we're going to have to address our shirt situation here, Eytan, at some point before the show's over.
Stream bringing this up or something?
Well, the stream, they notice everything, and they picked up on it early on in the show. And of course, when we flashed on before the show started, I noticed it immediately. And I've seen Eytan wear this shirt before.
Well, this was for TV this morning.
Okay, so but I didn't see you. Unfortunately, I didn't see it.
Missed it.
But it's not like Eytan and I communicated before the show. Hey, wear your nice pink golf shirt. It just sort of happened that way.
No, but here's what I can say is, if you see Harry in a pink golf shirt for this show, that means he has a tee time at some point following the show, and you're looking to get out.
Exactly right.
On the other hand, it's the opposite, where I'm rolling in for what I already used this for.
Gotta get you in.
I got in. That's it.
Yeah, Joby's right. Yeah, I was there in 2002. I mean, McCaffrey was still there. They had a squad, man. When I was with Denver.
We're going to break real quick. Yeah. We're back in 3 before we hit the top of the hour. Still live on the JAKIB Media YouTube page. Harry's got to go somewhere, but it'll just be Barrett and I until he gets back. And you on Sports Map Radio.
Yeah, we got Ben Simmons here with us.
What's that? Oh,
we got Ben here with us.
I didn't even see that behind him.
You didn't want to see that behind him.
No, I did not. I did not. Let's see here. Set this up. Oh man, check this out. Ready? So this is why, like, all the bets and I'm giving out picks and all this other stuff, right? Like, you don't need to know anything about betting, and you can still. Is that too? I might need to.
No, I can see it.
Okay. Is there a way to zoom in? There we go.
Now, what are these bets for?
All right. So let me see if I move that away. How do I get rid of that top part? So basically, there's the juice, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if the juice is minus 105 and you're betting something that's minus 105 here, then you have a 51.2% chance of winning that bet. It doesn't even matter what the bet is, right? It doesn't even matter. Like, it can just be ping pong. It can be whatever the hell it is, right? Just the juice itself. That's the break-even win percentage. So you go down here to minus 200, and you have a 2/3 shot every single time, 2 out of 3 chances that it hits, right? And then you start to look at, like, positive money, and you see plus 195. You only have a 1 out of 3 chance that it hits. So what's wild about all of this is it's really not difficult if you don't know what you're doing. But if you want to get good at it, right, then you have to kind of know and place. But a lot of people don't even realize this. Like, you should always be using this as some sort of model or some sort of indicator of where there's value, right? It's like, oh, yeah, look, I can get them at plus 160. All right, well, you only have a 38.5% chance of that bet hitting. Is it really worth it? Isn't that crazy, though?
Wow.
But
Oh,
the
Harry,
numbers,
I didn't see you
the
come back.
numbers, huh?
You
It's
see
all
this?
about the numbers.
Everything. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So every bet that you place here at minus 150, you're always at a 6. That's why I was saying when you were gone, that's why it's like everybody's a tout now and everybody's a sharp and everybody's giving picks out and stuff, because you can give minus 120, minus 1. That's when you see a record. Always go back and see what they're giving out. You got people giving out minus 150, 155 bets. They're going to hit 60% of the time just blindly.
The Dave Smith
Isn't that
Show.
wild, though?
Weekend
Yeah.
Like, you don't need to know anything. You can just sit there $1,000 and just pound away at minus 110, and you're going to hit 52.4. Now, you're going to lose, of course, on the juice, right?
Right.
But you're still going to win these bets.
Gavig.
Yeah. Which, look, you could, and I just opened myself up to somebody being like, well, that's all you're doing, Shander, is you're taking advantage of numbers and odds on ping pong. And you know what? That's exactly what I'm doing. That's why I'm getting these guys at 165, 170 mid-match, because they've dropped to where there's less value, but there's still a good probability that it hits. Look at this. You didn't even realize that this. I'm telling you, man, I start hanging around these poker players. These poker players are amazing when it comes to fantasy sports and betting, because they always look at it like a hand. And you know who's a poker player? It's Jeff Parles.
I got two at my club that are.
He looks like a poker player
pros.
too.
You know what, Harry? Next time, if you ever can get out with these guys,
Yeah,
if you haven't already,
it's a couple.
Oh, even better.
Yeah.
The application of what you do when you look at setting up a fantasy lineup in golf to just taking bets that we talk about is so lined with the approach when it comes to hands. The only difference, of course, is you're playing people. But that works in DraftKings tournaments as well.
This guy won $1 million on a football thing this past season.
I don't doubt it, man.
Yeah. All they do is play golf. They play 36 holes a day, and then play poker on the weekends.
Yep.
And
That's
fantasy
crazy.
sports. That's what he does, and his wife too.
I mean, they make a living doing that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Look,
Oh, yeah.
We just brought Max on. That's what he does. He's a professional DFS player.
That's crazy.
So that's it, right? I mean, the guy that I work
There
for,
she
Osmo,
is.
look up Alex Baker. All right, as far as net worth and what he's done, I still think he's the top fantasy player in the world. And it's these guys come from poker. They all come from poker. They have these analytics, they have these sheets, they have these spreadsheets. It gets to the point where it's like, for the average fan, I'm not going through. Think about human nature and how much human nature plays into betting and sports like fantasy and other stuff, where just taking the time to look at a spreadsheet versus the mentality of, I'm not looking at that crap. I don't need any numbers or data to tell me who to bet on. All right, well, you just got your ass served.
Well, see, that's the problem, man. Because
Well, yeah.
it's
That's
taking
why-
it's taking the sport out of the game.
That's why I used to beat Baldy on when I was
Right.
doing a show with him. Like
Right.
Baldy
Well,
would look at it from a football perspective and say,
Right.
"Oh, you're wrong, Harry." And I'm
That's
like,
why I'm not
"No,
a
no,
good
no."
better. That's why I don't bet. I don't even go to Atlantic City, and it's only 45 minutes away. I just can't do it. I think too emotional. I'm too involved with it. I'm too tied to the humanity of circumstances as
Crazy.
opposed to numerically looking at it. That's why the game is. That's
You don't
why
play poker?
That's why baseball is dying, because of analytics. Baseball
hold
is
on a second.
dying because of it.
Applying analytics to somebody hitting fifth or replacing your pitcher is different than applying the value, if you will, and what I laid out to a bet. That's all I'm saying. Like, there's a difference in analytics. Like, I agree with you. Baseball, look at Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi barely, if ever, used analytics, and now he's forced to use analytics, and he's all over the place. I'm just saying, as far as using data that's readily available to you, the average person just won't do it.
I know, Wolf, because you got that feeling. I got the feeling, baby. I got the feeling. The feeling is I'm going home broke.
Yeah.
I just spent my gas money, or I just spent my mortgage payment for this month. I mean, I there's no way that I could, look at myself in the same way if I went out and did that. I can't do it.
No, man. Dude, this guy, Alex, 78 times won the FanDuel DraftKings $100,000 tournament.
Alex Baker.
Oh, my God. All right, we're back next. back in 3 here at the top. Yeah, it's the poker guys. That's my new thing. It's like with Bryson and the driver. This is my new thing now. It's just trying to mine all these poker guys. All right, we're back in 3.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
as long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull beef jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Welcome to the Wildwoods, the perfect place where you can safely do everything or nothing at all. Catch a wave, take a nap, go for a drive, grab a bite. It's your vacation, and we're doing everything we can to make it a safe one. The Wildwoods. Your vacation, your way.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
Field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
This is a key. It's a family tree. It's a pair of wings. It's a secret handshake. And a ticket to anywhere in the world. It's more than a uniform. It's the door to a world most people only dream of. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. Try it on at GoArmy.com.
Apparently, Michael Jordan is in Atlantic City.
Fishing, bro. Fishing tournament out there.
Yeah, it's Jimmy Johnson's tournament.
Uh-huh.
Yeah?
Big time.
Why aren't you at this thing, man?
Because I got to work with you guys.
Jeez.
Plus, it costs too much to get into it. It's like 15 grand to get into it.
Yeah, they give out like $1 million prize or something.
Yep. And this boat is ridiculous. You know, my boat's small compared. My boat's like, he take like 4 of my boats. I think his boat's like 88 feet long or something like that.
Who's that, Jordan's?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was spotted having dinner at Steve and Cookies, which I've never been to. I've never heard of it.
Me neither.
Yeah. Jimmy Johnson's quest for the ring championship fishing week. $1 million guaranteed purse. Oh, so the total purse is $1 million, not the first prize. That's the total purse.
He's not doing it. He's just competitive, man. Catch 23, man. Both ridiculous.
I wonder if he's playing golf at Galloway or Atlantic City Country Club, or
more than likely.
Yeah. Hidden Creek.
Look up Catch 23, man. Look how big that boat is. It's ridiculous. Beautiful boat, man. Worth like 10, 12 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? that thing's that expensive?
Oh yeah, easy. Probably more than that. Catch 23, Jordan's boat.
I mean, it's not a yacht; it's a fishing boat.
It's a Viking 80. It's 80 foot long.
Interior and everything, like.
Yeah, I know, but it's not a yacht.
Look, he got what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got he's got 6 deckhands and 1 captain. Crazy.
Is that
he takes fishing all the time? He goes fishing all the time, like in these tournaments.
Isn't that the boat that they use for below deck?
No.
What's below deck?
Dude, this is a fishing boat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a big fishing boat, but it's a fishing boat. It looks like a Bertram or something, you know, like a 40, 50-foot Bertram, but it's bigger, I guess.
My boat's kind of like in that style. Just not like that.
The middle starts now on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage. Home loans that fit your life. Rocket can.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios, here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
All right, second hour here. Jeff Parles, we think, right? Going to join
I don't know.
I thought he was here with you last week.
Well, it was 2 weeks ago, I think, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
I think it was 2. No, it was last week.
It was last week.
It was because you were out one day last week, and it was Wednesday.
Wednesday, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he joined us. We got Xander put out the link like in the last half hour of the show because Gunner couldn't join us, and we just on a lark said, "Yeah, let's try Parles," and boom, there he was. He just jumped in. Yeah.
Well, let's see. I think he's a poker player. He's out.
I'm sure he is.
Right? I mean, don't you kind of have to?
Yeah, I think that's part of the deal.
I think you're right. It is part of the deal. Nothing left on the Richard Sherman bone. It looks like the NFLPA's put out a statement. They're monitoring it. Dude's a free agent. I don't think he's playing this year, as Barrett said. I think Deshaun Watson will probably play before Richard Sherman at this point. Although you never know. Dallas may
never know.
Hey, it's worth it. He's going to sit 6 games. We'll still take Sherman. Seriously, if a team is looking at a playoff push, then why not, knowing that he could be ready by week 8 or 10?
Yeah.
It's a gamble, but what are you really giving up? You're not trading anything to sign him.
Well, I mean, the fact that they're not giving him bail, I mean,
yeah, that's a concern. That's a red flag right there.
Yeah, that's a big concern.
I mean, had this been in New York City, he probably would have walked in and out of the police department right back out on the street.
No question. There's no question about that.
I mean,
no, that's
crazy.
That's insane, isn't it?
Now, there's a couple of plays here I want to run by you tonight for this NBA game, Eytan.
Oh, no. Well, hold on. We're going to – this is a good tease here because we have to break.
All right.
Here's the music. So we have to break on SportsMap. We're still live on the JAKIB Media YouTube page. Make sure you hit us up with a like. Make sure you're subscribed. So Harry has a couple of plays. Coming up next. Stay here. Game 4, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and how it affects the series.
All right, we're back in 3 next. What do you got? Where do you want to start?
Well, tonight, like Bucks.
Well, yeah,
-4 over the Suns tonight. Then, therefore, you think it's going to go 7 then. Once it gets tied 2-2, it's probably a 7-game series. Then you take the Suns plus 260 in 7.
I think, well, there's also another bet, which is series to go 7.
Okay.
So
regardless of who wins?
Correct.
Okay.
I want to make sure that wasn't taken off the board. But I think it was, at least where all right, let me check another book. But
why would you take it off the board? I don't understand that. Why?
Because Milwaukee won 1 game, and if they win tonight, it's pretty like everybody's going to bet one way. So the books may think it's either going to be a winner, like the books, a couple of reasons, real quick, Barrett. The books may look at that bet and say, all right, there's no way we can make this bet available for people that they're still going to bet it and we make money. So they may think it's not worth it.
Right.
I'm sure there's some other reasons. Harry probably knows more, but I think for initially, like, they're not going to put anything up there that they feel is going to be a loser.
One-sided action or a loser, yeah.
Right. So if the Bucks win tonight, then it's pretty much, as Harry said, everybody's going to pour in on a 7-game series. Now, I still look selfishly. I have a Suns in 6 ticket, and I have the Suns -1.5 in this series. So if Milwaukee, that's why I really do want Milwaukee to win tonight, or at least win one of the next 3.
Yeah. So it goes 6.
Correct.
Yeah.
4, 5, 6. I think if Milwaukee, now winning 2 straight against the Bucks is not easy, especially winning in Milwaukee, but if Milwaukee wins tonight and the Suns win 2 straight, if the Suns win tonight and Milwaukee wins game 5, let's say.
Yeah, it would have to be game 4 or game 5.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly right. So that's what yes. So back to your whole point here now. Do you take the Suns +5? Is that where you're starting?
No, I took saying the Bucks -4.
I have it at 5 now.
Oh, you do?
But hold on, different book. Let me see. Yeah, I think if you were, I don't like either team ahead of tip. I don't know if you need to bet any team ahead of tip. So, I mean, it's over 200 on the money line for the Bucks, right? But you only have the Suns at +160. After they got hammered, they're getting 5, which is a number, don't get me wrong, but they're still only +160 on the money line. So it's almost like the books are trying to bait you into taking this big spread, but when it comes back to putting your money where it really matters on the money line, it's like, nah, we're not willing to give you a big payout. That should be, come on. Milwaukee has life in this series. Milwaukee has life in this series, right? And they just hammered the Suns. There's no way that Phoenix, even though they're up 2-1 in this series, they're still in Milwaukee. That should be a little higher, I think.
What, the plus money for the Suns?
Yeah, I mean, I would jump. If I could get that at 180, 185, I'd be interested. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what to do tonight ahead of time. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So you're going to go in-game. It's probably better that way.
You want to look at the future of this, right?
Well, yeah, just how it, tonight's game really dictates whether it's a 7-game series or not.
Okay, so back to your point. I found it. Let's do it. All right, let's do this. And Barrett, I agree with you, right? Like, Bucks win tonight, and I did find the bet, so it is up. Bucks win tonight. Now, all of a sudden, you do have a lot of belief, conviction that this thing can go 7. So this is not what I would do personally because I'm holding on to 2 tickets right now. If anything, I would create a small window and take the Suns in 5. But yes, on a 7-game series is plus 125. To Harry's point, if the Bucks win tonight, that's either off the board or you're now, laying 130, 140, probably something significant.
Probably more, yeah.
The idea, I guess, what you would do is you would lay the 5, which is a lot, but you would lay the 5. You would take the Buck, or you would take somebody in 7, right? The Suns in 7. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Suns in
plus 260. It was.
Yeah, perfect. So let's build this little ticket here. I like what you're thinking here, Harry.
I got him going. Here we go.
I like it. Now, we also have to factor in here that if you have the Suns winning, there's no bet on Finals MVP. You can't go Devin Booker or DeAndre Ayton right now.
No, it'd be Chris Paul and
It's
Chris
Paul
alone.
right?
Yeah.
If you wanted to take the flip side, then Giannis is the only one who's winning it if the Bucks win. All right, so this is interesting. See, Barrett, this is what happens, man. Now, you want to take, you have to take the Bucks laying 5, right? You're not going to take the Bucks on the money line at -213, right?
No.
Okay. So now all of a sudden here, and by the way, we have to get to it at some point. Maybe we will with Jeff Parles.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Brandon Webb this week, top 20.
Brandon Webb.
Yeah. Watch out.
Watch out. Watch out. Watch out.
Yeah.
I never even heard of him.
Yeah. He's coming back.
Oh, man.
Who's this?
Now, look at this. 7-game series plus 125. By the way, Morikawa to win it is plus 1,400. 7-game series plus 125. Suns 4-3 to win in 7 plus 250. Bucks -5 tonight minus 110. Now you can't parlay these, so you have to bet them single. Let's say a unit is $25, right? Let's just say hypothetically a unit for you is $25. You're betting 75 to gross 191.
So 3 units.
Correct. Let's say a unit's $100. You're betting 300 to win 765. So really 465 net. That's not bad, Harry.
No.
Let's say we're playing with Barrett Brooks money and a unit is $1,000.
Yeah, big money, Barrett.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
3K is going to net you 46.59. All right. Now that's a business proposition you could bring back to the boss lady and say, all right, we need 3K out of the ATM. Shander was wrong about USA, but he's got a really good feeling about
right. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And let's give props to Popovich and company for actually mixing in a win last night.
You know what, Harry?
All right.
I
didn't even know.
To watch. Exactly. Thank you.
I didn't even know.
Thank you. They're dead to me, that
They
team.
beat Argentina.
They're dead
They buried them.
So from this point on, they're going to bury everybody.
Yeah, right.
I assume.
Right. But don't ask Popovich about blowouts.
Nope. Not
Or
blowout.
he'll yell out.
Hairstyles. Those are those back?
No, I don't think
feel
so.
like the blowout is back. Are you sure?
I don't think so.
My son had a blowout this morning. And it
Oh,
wasn't-
yeah. That was in his diaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this thing penetrated the diaper. It penetrated the onesie and the
Oh, my
sheet
God.
that he was laying on in the bassinet. Man.
We didn't know.
That's
did
great
not
work by
need to
him.
know this.
I
great
rank
work by him.
the blowouts. All right.
Okay.
Top 4 blowouts in history. It's
What about the movie Blowout with John Travolta?
wait a second.
That was awful.
How many hair blowouts were there in that movie?
Quite a few.
1981.
Yes.
How the hell did you pull this?
Well, I was a junior in high school.
This is Brian De Palma.
Yeah.
Whoa. You know, Dennis Franz and John Lithgow were in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, you love Lithgow.
I'm a huge Lithgow.
Yeah.
You're
You're a Lithgowsman.
I'm all Lithgowed up when it comes to him. Come on, man. All right, top 4 blowouts. It's got to be that, right? Blowout movie. I don't know if it makes it. Blowout the hairstyle. Sports blowout has to be number 1. And then whatever your child blows out of its rear, I think has to make the list, doesn't it?
About blowout on Below Deck. They said it's a good series. I did see Below Deck. Below Deck.
Here we go.
Joey B.
Yeah, he's just
show on Bravo.
Barrett is just tuned into Joey B.
Seriously. Yeah.
Below Deck. It's a show, and all these kids go on this. They work on this boat.
They work on a yacht.
They work on the yacht, and all they do is just kick it with each other.
Yeah. There's no nudity.
But
Don't get excited.
That's probably a great summer job, though, right?
Uh-huh.
Can you imagine that?
No. Have you seen this show? No, they have to. They're at the. You know what this is? This is you renting out Below Deck, right? And you got all this money and you want to have a party, and it's like you're in this small little boat, yacht, if you will, and you're in the remote part of the world or country, wherever it may be. And these people are at your every beck and call, right? Like, you know, their eggs were a little runny. I'm sorry. Can you come back and make me something different? Right. Like, that's all it is.
Yeah. And you're kissing their behind the entire time. And you're in the middle of the ocean, so you can't just say, I'm out of this job. I'm walking home. No, you're in the middle of the Indian Ocean, let's say.
Leave it to you to put that in perspective. Yeah,
Exactly.
like I'm out of here.
Yeah,
Where are you going?
Right.
You have to wait until you hit the shore. And then
Right.
it's like, all right, roll call. Wait a second. Where's Jenny? Oh, she's out. She bailed. Jay, you won't see her no more.
She left when we ported, docked in Madagascar.
Yep.
She's out.
Yep. It's amazing.
All right, now I got some numbers here on the Open Championship, Eytan. Some trends, if you will. 11 of the last 11 winners have had at least 4 career worldwide wins.
Okay.
11 of 11.
What's a worldwide win?
Well, that means like a World Golf Championship, or like maybe they went over to Dubai, one of those European Tour events in January, February, and won there.
But is it a major on that specific tour? Or
No, not necessarily a major, but just a win, on another tour or a World Golf Championship.
Okay. Now, here's the thing, though, real quick. I got to write this down because this is actually pretty fast. No, that's a pretty important piece of paper, so I don't want to do that. All right. So 11 of the last 11 have won at least 4. Now, how difficult is it to find without, like, how much time do you think it would take just to find out how many people like that meet the criteria that are golfing this weekend?
Well, I mean, you'd probably look at just the top 20 guys.
Yeah, long shots don't usually win this event.
Well, no, they have, though, in the past. Like Todd Hamilton won it out of nowhere. Nobody even knew who he was. Ben Curtis, who won on this golf course in 2003, nobody knew who he was until he won the Open. So it can happen. That this tournament, weird stuff can happen because I was explaining this to you yesterday. The weather and the golf course makes it random. Weird bounces happen.
Is this 11 of the last 11 strictly for the Open Championship?
11 of the last 11 winners at the Open Championship
At
have had at least
course?
4. No, just
Okay.
11 of the last 11 events.
Got it.
But that does include one that happened in this one because that was 2011, the last time they were here.
Who
Now
won?
here's that was Darren Clark.
Got it.
He's on the senior tour now. Here's a good one. 13 of the last 14 winners of the Open have had a previous top 10 or better in an Open.
Same tournament, just different course.
Different year, different course, maybe different course, but different year.
13 of last 14 Open winners have had at least one top 10?
Previous top 10 in an Open.
Wow.
9 of the last 11 winners had at least 4 top 10 finishes earlier this year.
Wait, so it's basically 9 of the last 11 Open Championship winners have had at least one victory on tour leading to the
4
Open.
top 10s.
4 top 10s.
That was the one I just gave. 4 top 10s.
But that's 4 top 10s each year leading up to the respective Open.
No, just this season, not each year.
Oh, okay.
Okay, 9 of the last 11 winners in that particular season. So if the guy won it in 2016, he probably had 4 top 10s that year leading. Yes,
right.
yes.
Not this year. Not looking at a guy like who has.
No, but if the trend continues, then it would be. Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Right. 4 top 10 finishes?
Correct. 8 of the last 10 winners were inside the official World Golf Rankings top 40. So that pretty much narrows the field down somewhat.
Okay, hold on. That is gigantic.
Yes.
That one, what's that? You need to get all right,
8 of the last 10.
Hold on, real quick. We're going to take a quick break on the network. We're still going to be live here on JAKIB Media YouTube page. We'll break in about 10 before Jeff Parles across the board. This is how you create something here. Right? This is Stu level of mining.
Exactly.
So right, we're back in 3 on the Sports Map Radio. All right, let's give me that last one real quick.
8 of the last 10 winners of the Open.
Yep.
Were inside the top 40 in the World Golf Rankings at the time. So you can pretty much open up the OWGR right now and look at the top 40. The winner's going to be in there. Now 40, I'll get it open.
I have it here too, yeah.
Oh, you do?
So let's start. Yeah, but it's better for you to look at it as well for reference. So let's start there. and almost work in reverse. Now, we're not going to do this right now, but because this will probably take an hour at least. But let's start there and then work back, right? So you look at everybody in the top 40 right now. How many of these guys have at least 4 top 10s this year? How many of these guys have had at least 1 top 10 in an Open Championship? And how many of these guys have had at least 4 worldwide victories on tour victories? Because if it's like 3, then don't you just, this is like that Tiger stat that you gave back at the Masters.
Right.
Guess what? It paid off.
Right. Yes. All right. Like a guy like Stuart Sink is inside the top 40 now in the world golf rankings. He's won this before.
Yeah.
Different golf course. He beat Tom Watson. I think it was at Troon. But he's inside the top 40. He's got 2 wins already this year. Outright wins on the tour. You know, it's kind of been a year of old guys.
And remember, that's what Max said when he popped on yesterday, which is it's a big neutralizer that guys can't use the big stick.
You know, Stuart Sink might be a good, long shot play. I don't know what his
for
odds
top 20.
Are.
Yeah. See, this is what I do, Barrett, is I take everybody that like Barrett, or pardon me, that Harry loves, that Max, that Ryan Ballinger who joins us, that all the smart golf guys love to win, and I bet them top 20. Because I feel like it's much. I sacrifice value, but it's
you get like plus 160 or plus 180 rather than plus 450 or whatever. But
I wouldn't know to bet Tony Finau or stay away from Tony Finau this week unless someone like Harry or Ryan or those guys told me.
Funny you bring him up because there's only one player in the top 10 in the last 2 Opens that's in the field. 2018 and 2019, they didn't play it last year. Tony Finau.
So he's the only guy. Now, what would be fascinating is if he actually fell in this very narrow criteria of hitting all 4 of these things.
Well, I mean, he's Finau. Where is he?
I mean, he's
ranked 17th in the world.
Man.
You're listening to The Middle on the SportsMap Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the
I'm going to spend a long time on this today.
Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
Yeah, it's great. You just prepped my show this evening.
Yeah, I opened up a wormhole here that Eytan is going to be in for the next 5-6 hours.
He's all into it now, man. He's going down.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing golf, and he's going to be on the computer.
He's falling down. Oh!
Yes.
No, this is amazing. You gave me because the last time Harry gave us one of these was for the Masters, and it paid off.
Right.
And apply. I waited, and it was day 2 or 3, I think, that we used the metric that you had, Harry, and it paid off because Matsuyama was there.
Yeah, and Matsuyama's not in this tournament.
No, not at all.
He's still with COVID, testing positive. All right, here's a good one. 7 of the last 10 winners of the Open were 32 years of age or older. So experienced player. 7 of the last 10. Stuart Sink falls into that category.
32 or older?
32 or older.
Okay.
He's writing it all down. He's going through
5 again, because there's going to be somebody, even if it's one person, right, that's going to be in this set of parameters.
All right, so you take out, all right, he drops out of this, he drops out, and you have 10 guys there. All right, these are my 10 guys for the top 20.
Yeah, right. You go through the top 40 and you just weed people out, right?
Yeah. I'm going to give you the last couple of winners here, the last recent history. Shane Lowry was a 66-1 shot when he won it 2 years ago, and they didn't play it last year.
Right,
so he's the defender. Molinari won it the year before. He was 30-1. Now, Jordan Spieth, he was only 14-1. He was one of the favorites when he won it at Royal Birkdale.
And he's getting a lot of love for this one,
He's the second favorite right now. Henrik Stenson was 28-1. Zach Johnson was 80-1. McElroy was a favorite, 14-1. Mickelson, when he won it, was 20-1. Ernie Els, 40-1. Darren Clark was 200-1 when he won at this golf course in 2011.
Wow.
And Louis Oosthuizen was 250-1 when he won in 2010.
So 8 of the last 10 winners have been at least a 20-1 shot.
Correct. There were two 14-1ers in there. That was it.
Now 14-1 for people who don't understand or haven't bet golf and all. That's like, that's like plus 150 on a bet. Like if to get 1,400 for a tournament, as Harry said, that's more chalk.
Yeah, that's the second favorite right now.
Yeah,
because I think Rahm's in single digits, and then you got Spieth around 14 or 15 or 16-1.
Wait a second. I texted all of this to Max, and while he's not enamored by the trends, he does say there's 3 guys that fit this criteria. Now, he can't any of them win, but I'm just curious who fit it because, look, I love Max, and I'll follow him all day when it comes to sharp plays on baseball, which is impossible to bet on, and golf. But I'll tell you this, no matter what anybody tells me, I'm going to bet these 3 guys just to bet these 3 guys, just to see what the hell happens.
Right. Now,
this is amazing. You made my day. I thought I was going to have to sit there and
that's why I'm here
for over a show for 2 hours on Chris Paul.
Yeah, I just made his show for the afternoon today.
You threw it up there, and he's gonna dunk it.
This is gonna be a regurgitation sensation.
I love it, man. Oh, by the way, I don't know what I was thinking earlier. I mentioned a pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Yeah, Webb.
It was Webb Simpson, and shame on you for not catching me on that. Now, why do I
you
like
said Brandon Webb?
I know, I meant Webb Simpson.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Now, why do I like Webb Simpson? Why do I love Webb Simpson this week? Because nobody is hitting the ball out of crap better right now than Webb Simpson. And there's a lot of crap. There's more crap on the fescue than comes out of my mouth on a daily basis, Barrett.
He's a young guy, though. What do you want to mess with him for?
No, he's over 32.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yeah, I just no. Hold on. All I need is top 20. All I need is top 20. This is the one ticket this is the big ticket that I'm riding for this week. You ready? This is the one that matters. All right. Went under 11.5 last night. That hits. I have under 4.5 rebounds tonight for Chris Paul. And the third leg is Webb Simpson plus 230. That parlay
top 20.
Top 20, pardon. Yeah. That parlay pays out plus 769.
Wow, that's nice.
So I'm waiting on that. Yep.
All right, now Kevin Bloomfield on the stream wants to know who are the 3 players.
I'm waiting.
So he didn't send them to you yet.
Brooks, Rory, Louis, and Phil. What about Louis?
Well, yeah, Louis he's a good play. He's playing well. He always seems to come up second.
Yeah, how old is Oosthuizen?
Oh, he's got to be mid-30s. Webb Simpson's 35.
All right, so if you wanted to fill this criteria, it looks like there are 4 guys: Brooks, Rory, Louis, and Phil. Now, Max is anti this list. I just want you to know. All right?
Okay.
But I'm with you, Harry.
He's 38. Louis 38.
Yeah, and he doesn't win. He's never won, right?
He's won the British Open once.
One.
Yeah.
Right. When was that?
2010, and then he finished runner-up. He lost I think he was in that playoff when Zach Johnson won it at St. Andrews 2015, I want to say. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, there are the 4 according to Harry's criteria. Look, see, I saved myself, Barrett. This is why it's always about who you have access to, right? I could have spent 4 hours trying to find the same thing that it took 6 minutes to get from somebody that I know and a guy who joined us yesterday at Max. See, I'm working smart, man. I'm not working hard.
That's right.
I'm like, look, I learned a lot from corporate America as far as middle management, right? Get somebody below to do what you have to do. And then you take that and turn it to the person above you. And it's like, you're really getting it now, Shander. Good job.
You're just working your way up the ladder.
Trying, brother.
Just don't sleep under your desk.
No. I don't think I could fit. And if anything, it would be this desk here. So
right.
Look, you never know. At this point, you might see it. Me just pop up from the stream one day.
Yeah.
Hey. Time is
have an alarm clock in there.
Right.
Teddy. Do you like web or do you like which one do you like, Teddy? That's what you're gonna be talking to your son. Which one do you like? He's gonna point to web.
Right. Oh man.
See, baby. He kicked over there. That's where I'm going.
Yeah, and Koepka's telling everybody that he doesn't like this golf course.
Really?
Like it matters. Seriously. I mean, you're almost like it's almost a crime if you don't pick that guy at least to finish in the top 10. It's a major championship. That's when he shows up.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little disappointing. When was it? 2 tournaments ago?
Well, in the PGA, he was in the final grouping with Mickelson and didn't play well. And then he finished, I think he was top 5, I think, at the U.S. Open. He gave it a run until he was in it until the final 3 or 4 holes.
Here's something for me. And I wonder, like, how, if you are covering this sport, how can you infuse Bryson when you're talking to Brooks and Brooks when you're like somebody called Bryson Brooks at a press conference, I think on Monday, right? So a casual fan like Barrett, right, or and others who may not be betting on this intently or even watching it intently, but might be watching it because there's nothing else to watch at 4 a.m. How do you continue this? Because I don't want this to die, but I also don't want this to become some like pre-planned ESPN segment with 50 producers standing over and saying, all right, this is what you say, then you say here.
But I think it has to organically happen where they're playing together.
Okay. We're back in 3, maybe, Parles.
I get scared sometimes.
Of a lot of things.
Joining in.
Decisions.
The dark.
The dark.
But I once heard someone say,
But as I always say,
it's okay to be afraid.
As long as you face the fear.
And keep moving forward.
Wherever you are in life, count on the name trusted in insurance for over 80 years. Independence Blue Cross.
The savoring taste of a good bag of beef jerky is so enjoyable at any time of the day, as long as you can find it. Here's what we suggest. Pure Bull beef jerky is our answer, and soon it will be yours. Locally produced in the Philadelphia region, this high-quality, healthy protein snack is easy to secure. Go to steersnacks.com, and you'll see hot garlic, tropical heat, Pure Bull dry rub, and our favorite, Huck and Fod. What's that? Huck and Fod. Go now to steersnacks.com.
Welcome to the Wildwoods, the perfect place where you can safely do everything or nothing at all. Catch a wave, take a nap, go for a drive, grab a bite. It's your vacation, and we're doing everything we can to make it a safe one. The Wildwoods. Your vacation, your way.
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local Union 98, is a proud sponsor of The Labor Show with J. and Krause every Saturday night from 6 till 8 p.m. IBEW Local 98's highly trained and superbly skilled electricians are the best in the business, setting the highest safety standards in the electrical industry. So when you're planning your next industrial, commercial, or residential project, choose an IBEW Local 98 union contractor. Learn more at ibew98.org.
On the field of life, First Trust Bank is there for you.
Champions on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Because Philadelphia dreams deserve a Philadelphia bank.
This is a key. It's a family tree. It's a pair of wings. It's a secret handshake. ticket to anywhere in the world. It's more than a uniform. It's the door to a world most people only dream of. There's Strong, and then there's Army Strong. Try it on at GoArmy.com.
This is The Middle on the Sports Map Radio Network.
Presented by Rocket Mortgage.
Live from the O'Reilly Auto Parts Studios. Here's Eytan Shander, Barrett Brooks, and Harry Mays.
Well, look who it is.
What's up, guys?
Charles, what's up, bro?
Wow. Now the blue hat, according to Joey B's numbers here, I think it was pretty 5-1 on the blue hat.
Right.
He's
Joey B was actually a fair line. So
yeah.
I guess that pep talk I gave him a few weeks ago actually worked.
He's getting sharper.
He's getting better. He's getting better.
Hey,
oh,
look,
man.
it's good to have you back. I heard you popped in last week, made a nice appearance on the show.
Yeah, no, I will say it's the few week absence. 1 week something came up. The other week was just me being an idiot and not checking the right email. That's all that was.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
Yeah,
that happens.
Yeah,
Barrett. It happens to Barrett every day.
Yeah, every day.
Every single day.
The right email. That's what it is.
Damn these emails.
Well, I just recently sent Eytan down a wormhole that he may not return from, Jeff.
Not today.
With regards to the Open Championship and trends.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where have you gone then?
Well, I'm balancing everything out here, and I'm trying to go back and forth with Harry and his information, as well as a guy that we brought on yesterday that I trust a lot from both betting and DFS in the world of golf. So we're trying to use every single metric we have. And some of these I don't think are going to hold, but there are two that I think are worth looking at. And then, you combine this with strokes gained, over the last 2 or 3 months. And you start to look at, as far as guys gaining strokes on greens, there's putting, right? A lot of things that like putting, and I'm just saying this, so Harry is going to correct me if I'm wrong, but you can't account for a tee shot in 22 mile per hour wind that takes a weird bounce off of the fairway into fescue that you couldn't find, a monument in. But what you can do is you can mitigate a lot of that damage by putting. So if I'm going to look at somebody right now that's really good from 10 to 15 feet out, that's probably a metric I would use more so than what somebody did 4 or 5 or 6 years ago at a different course.
That's Jordan Spieth.
The only issue I have with that is, and I would imagine we would all agree in this, especially at the PGA level. Putting is the one thing, even though obviously you have your consistent putters, and Jordan Spieth would be the person that would make, and also Spieth is a great scrambler as well. So that's going to be very important in this tournament.
Same with Patrick Reed.
I'm happy you brought Patrick Reed up, Harry, because the only concern putting wise is it's so variable round to round. You could have a guy who's gaining 5 strokes putting one round and then comes out the next round and shoots 78 because that regresses back to the mean. Patrick Reed is one of my 2 outrights to win this thing. Just because, again, he's a great putter, great scrambler, and he's good in majors. And he's been – and also, too, again, they don't – when they have the Ryder Cup in Europe, it's usually not on a traditional links course like this, but he has played well in Ryder Cups in Europe, too. So this is a good feel for Reed. And I was able to find out here that the brand new Resorts World has a different sports book than everybody else out here. And it was 41-1 when the rest of the market was really about 30-1. So I was like, how could I not take an extra $11 on Reed? So I took a little bit on him, and I have him top 20 and top 10 as well. So Reed is one of my guys. The other one, again, chalky here, but Rory. Rory's in reasonably good form. He's used to playing these courses, obviously. And I think what happened to him in Royal Portrush 2 years ago left a pretty sour taste in his mouth. You have the Open in his home country, has a horrible first round, and then comes back, shoots the course record at Portrush, and it's still not enough to get to the weekend. Even though I'm convinced if he had made the cut, he was finishing in the top 10 with how hard that course played over the weekend. Really, Shane Lowry was the only guy who figured out Royal Portrush 2 years ago en route to winning the Claret Jug. So I like Rory, and I got him at about 19-1 was the number I got Rory at, and I thought that was pretty good. It's between, depending on where you look, between 15-1 and 20-1 now on Rory.
Yeah, the typical Rory McIlroy week is get out to a bad start.
Yep.
Then Friday, he shoots a low number to make the cut. And then Saturday, he sits in neutral and does nothing. And then Sunday, when all the pressure's off, he backdoors a top 10.
Right. I have him top 10 and top 20 as well, Harry.
Yeah.
No, I think top 20 is also definitely workable here. Let's look at two guys I'm just curious about because they're constantly being talked about and they have the beef and everything else. Let's start with Brooks Koepka. Harry said it, so I'm paraphrasing what he said before you popped on, which is basically you'd be a fool to not put some sort of money, chalk money, on Brooks to do something if it's win it, if it's top 10 or even top 20. So let's start with Koepka and then look at Bryson and maybe from a fade Bryson standpoint. So let's start with Koepka first.
I have top 20 on Brooks. I just went with it was limited juice out here. It was only -110. I know on the East Coast it's closer to -150 on top 20. But if Koepka's pretty much proven this, when he is healthy, he finishes in the top 10 at majors. It happens all the time. The only major in recent memory where he totally imploded was this year's Masters. He was clearly not healthy. That was obvious. And then flips around and was great in the PGA and top 20 in the U.S., top 5 in the U.S. Open. As well. So no shock there. If you want to go top 10, no problem with that. If you want to go top 5, no problem with that. I don't think he's winning this week, but if you take those plus prices on top 10, top 5, you're more likely going to hit one of the two of them, if not both of them. So I see pretty much eye to eye with Harry. Take him in those secondary markets. Don't take him in the two-win market. I don't think he's winning this tournament this weekend, but top 5, top 10, top 20, at least two of those should be good.
So far, I only have one to win ticket, and that's JT at plus.
I have no problem with that either.
Yeah. But I like Reed.
You're not going to see Harry. You're not going to see JT at as high of a number as he is going into this tournament very often in majors. It's just that the form has been all over the map the last 2 months.
Right.
Go ahead.
No, you want to go Bryson now?
Yeah. Just I was going to go before we get to the NBA with Jeff. I wanted to go Bryson. I also want to throw these 4 names out at Jeff that meet this ridiculous criteria. The only 4 that meet this criteria on the big board here. But Bryson, I think for me, the only thing I want to do with Bryson DeChambeau is whether or not I want to return 250 on a bet for him to miss the cut. That's really
I got him at plus 225 to miss the cut.
I have no problem with that. We can't glean anything from what happened in Big Sky last week. I mean, that was more – we watched the whole event. That was more Aaron Rodgers carrying the day than Bryson DeChambeau, as ridiculous of a statement as that is. But it's true. Right. That's what happened.
Yeah.
Hey, look, he's not in good form. His caddy obviously a few weeks ago said, I've had enough of you. I don't want to deal with you anymore. Look, just the concern with that is, what is the score to make the cut this weekend? And this is obviously going to be, it all depends on the weather, as it always does with an Open Championship. If
that's what makes this such a tough tournament to wager on, is the randomness of the weather.
That's what makes this tournament always a little bit difficult, because if you get basically a guy who plays when the wind is whipping both days on Thursday and Friday,
he's out.
You're more than likely missing the cut. And if DeChambeau were to play in the 2 time slots that where it's not too bad, DeChambeau could go out, be 3 over through 2 rounds and make the cut. Mm-hmm. So it just, again, the weather is such a key factor here. And look, it could blow up my Rory bet. It could blow up my Patrick Reed bet if the weather is bad when those 2 guys play. So Again, the weather will be a key cog to this, but if the weather is pretty much the same most of the first 2 days, DeChambeau missing a cut would not be a surprise to me. I have no problem taking a plus money. I would take it a little smaller than a unit, but if it doesn't get there, so be it. That's one of those. For rooting against DeChambeau is not a hard thing to do, guys.
Nope. Are you rooting against Giannis?
No, I'm not actually. I'm not. If I were rooting against anyone in Milwaukee, I'd be rooting against Budenholzer because I think he stinks. So I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I mean, Giannis. I give Giannis a lot of credit here because that injury looked really gnarly when it happened, and the fact that he's come back, and look, he looks like Cleveland LeBron right now. With the production that he's given, obviously he can't make a free throw away from Milwaukee, but he's been phenomenal in these 3 games, and he needs some help in this series. Middleton and Holiday were better in Game 3, but that was more of a product that Devin Booker was horrible for Phoenix, and Milwaukee's defense looked like it did against Brooklyn in those home games in that series. So the home road splits have been really fascinating in this series so far, and it's trending in a way where it might be home team wins all 7.
Which is a far cry from what it was, the previous couple of, games. But, I mean, you're just looking at it. I just think, CP3 at this point is just destined to do it, But, hey, that's why I'm not a bettor because I'm thinking more with the, all right, it's his turn. It's his turn as opposed to the betting aspect of it. But what do you think?
Well, they're the favorites.
Phoenix still favored. Phoenix will be favored even if they lose tonight. I would imagine that price will probably dip. Look, that price was pretty steep pre-series, guys. Minus 190 was really more because we didn't know what Giannis was going to be. We didn't know if he was even going to be able to play at all. And then he comes out and has looked great through 3 games. My anticipation, if Milwaukee wins tonight, and I do think Milwaukee wins and covers tonight. I already laid 4. That I think is going to close closer to 5 by the time that game starts. But I already laid 4 just to get it in before that number moved, and it already has moved to 4.5, and we'll get the 5. I would guess Phoenix will probably be about minus 130, minus 125 to win the series if Milwaukee wins tonight. If Phoenix wins tonight, the series ends on Saturday night in Phoenix. So I still think Phoenix gets it done. I think home court's going to end up reigning supreme here. If a road team wins a game in this series, I think it would be Phoenix in Game 6 in Milwaukee. So I think this series is going 6 or 7. Milwaukee wins tonight. Phoenix wins Game 5. And then it's on the Bucks to hold serve at home to force that Game 7. I did bet Phoenix in 6 after they won Game 1. So that is one that I do kind of like. It was more of just I need to see how Giannis looks. All right, he's healthy. Milwaukee can win 2 home games in this series. So
what do you have the return at?
What was that?
What do you have the return at on 6?
What did I get? I need to look it up. I got it just shy of $4, I'm pretty sure.
I got it at 425. Now,
you got a better number than me. I think I got 375. Yeah, 375.
You took it after Game 1, and that's not that big of a dip.
No.
Yeah.
50 points following a victory is not that big of a dip at all. So
no, not at all. Look, again, I think those markets really didn't turn too much. The market that turned a lot after Game 1 was the Suns in 5. That was the one that turned a ton. But look, I didn't realistically. And again, could the Suns win in 5? Of course, they could win tonight and wrap this thing up. Again, Phoenix is a really darn good basketball team. That's been proven through this whole postseason and through the regular season. So they're capable of blowing up our bets. But I like where we're at with Phoenix in 6 right now.
Well, you brought up.
Go ahead, Harry. Sorry.
You brought up Budenholzer.
Harry, real quick. We have to break on the network. We're still live on the JAKIB Media YouTube page. Make sure you hit us up with a like. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel, the notification bell. We're back on Sports Map Radio in 3. Okay.
I don't want to derail the finals discussion.
Can I throw one more final?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. So I think there's a lot of scoring tonight. I'm not tempted, or I'm not going to take the total pre-flop, but even I don't see a scenario where it's low scoring. I think Phoenix is going to bounce back and knock down some shots. Milwaukee has guys that clearly can get to the bucket and knock down shots outside of Giannis and his Robins, if you will. So I really like a lot of points tonight. And what I did is I went in-game, same-game parlay here, And this is all for 3+ made 3. So all I need is 3 threes from each of these individuals. And the return is plus 801. Crowder, Paul, Holiday. Now, Holiday is the one where I need him to continue what he did last game, and that's going to be the question. But Paul is going to get a ton of looks tonight, and Jay Crowder is the one constant with Phoenix no matter what the hell's going on with the Suns. He's going to get looks as well. So based on the availability of shots, that's where I took this play.
So Holiday is the only concern.
Right.
Yeah, he's the only one who could blow this up for you.
Think about that, Jeff. I have Jrue Holiday 3+ threes tonight, essentially at plus 801.
It's not a bad bet, right? I mean, look, Crowder's going to first off, Crowder's going to take too many to not get the 3, unless if he just has an epically bad shooting night.
Absolutely.
He will get the 3. Paul will get the 3. Again, you're right. You have an 8-1 ticket on Jrue Holiday to make 3 threes, basically. Now watch. Then it's going to be Holiday makes 5, Crowder makes 4, and then you're needing a late one from CP3, and you're sweating profusely at the end.
Dude, this ticket ain't paying off in the first quarter. I know that. So this is a long night for me right now.
Yeah, you're going to be a fourth quarter cash there.
What I really need more so than anything, this is what I was telling the fellas, and Harry is going to derail or not derail. He's just going to change the direction. That's all. What I really need tonight, more so than anything, is under 4.5 rebounds for Paul. That would be.
What was the number you got on that?
Well, it's part of a 3-leg ticket here. So I took the under 11.5 runs last night at minus 128. I go under 4.5 rebounds tonight for Chris Paul at minus 208. And then I have Webb Simpson top 20 at plus 230. That returns plus 769.
Okay, you know what's going to happen there. Paul will hit that, and then Webb Simpson will miss the cut. That's what will happen there.
Webb is in. Webb is destined for a top 20. I'm going to be here to cash it.
I don't know. But you brought up Budenholzer a while ago, and that made me think of Popovich. You haven't gotten caught betting this Team USA in these first two of these 3 games, have you?
Okay, so no, I have not. I will say this. The second game, the debacle against Australia, I was very close because I was like, you know what? They just lost to Nigeria. They can't possibly.
Eytan said the same thing.
Great game. And it was a big number, too. And that's why I got scared off. It was like 18.5.
17.5, yeah.
Yeah, I think at 18.5, what I saw closing on Australia, I'm like, you know what? I just can't do it because at least the Aussies have some pros that we at least know who they are. And Patty Mills turns into Superman when playing for Australia, and the guy behind you, Harry, isn't playing for Australia.
Right.
So that may not be a bad thing. And they lose that game. Yesterday probably was a good bet on spot on the U.S. just because Argentina. I mean, at least Scola, who might be older than Barrett at this point.
Oh, my God. No, Harry's older than Barrett.
Yeah, I'm older than Barrett.
Harry's the guy that you reference when it's like, yeah, he's older than dirt. That's Harry on the show.
No, I want again, the Barrett's the former professional athlete. Scola, the former pro NBA. That was the main reason I went there. But
we were told, Parles, that, go out and even if you got to go out and get a loan for 15 or 10 grand, bet it on them to win. Bet it on
that was money line.
The Nigeria one was jarring, but Nigeria did flip around at least and destroy Argentina the next day. So,
right, that's not a fluke.
Yeah, so look, the Nigeria team actually has a chance to medal in Tokyo, but still, look, if you're the U.S., you can't lose to Nigeria, you can't lose to Australia, you just can't. You can't do it. And
no.
And the interesting thing too is that it's the futures odds, they were minus 1,600 before the Nigeria game. They're now minus 500 to win gold. So that thing's dipped a ton.
I'm not touching that thing. There's no way in hell I'm watching any more Team USA basketball. They ruined it for me. 2 games in a row. The play
didn't even count.
Look, and that's why if they can't look, this is like, okay, this may have a really cool ending to it where they're hoisting up whatever trophy or the gold medal, whatever crap it is that you celebrate here on this. You talk about a fake game. The Olympics are fake. That's a different story. But it's like a movie. All right. If you can't get me to sit through the first 10 minutes, then some crazy cool ending that you have an hour and 20 minutes past that, it doesn't matter in my life anymore. Because I've already, Suburban Commando could have had the best ending in the history of movie of film with Hulk Hogan, but I walked out of that sucker 10 minutes into it, and I never regretted it a day in my life.
I tried to get him to bet Pete Alonso in the home run derby. You wouldn't listen to me then either.
No.
Parles.
No. Just took the under last night. That was the safe one.
That was look
hold on.
I'm happy I ended up betting a little.
Hold on. All right.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just happy I bet a little Alonso, Harry, because I would have been very upset with myself if I didn't take a little. I'd actually had a bigger bet on Gallo to win the home run derby than Alonso, but when you're dealing with prices like that, you can wipe out your losses pretty easily.
Yeah.
When you're hitting a bet that's close to plus 550 like that.
Yeah. All right. I got a jet.
Oh, yeah.
All right, bro.
All right. See you guys. See you, Jeff.
Now you're stuck here. Now you're locked in for the next couple of minutes.
Hey, I got 5 more minutes here, guys.
Oh, that's fine. We can do that. We can definitely do that. I don't know. So what's your strategy tonight? Like, how do you approach this game? Take us through what you see tonight pre-flop and then what you expect, because although it didn't hit last game and it did hit the game before, I still like Milwaukee in the first quarter. I'm not going to get great odds at all on the money line, but I don't mind laying, especially if you can get a 3-way where it's like -2.5, -2.5, or no team -2.5. I think Milwaukee in that scenario would probably play out. And then what I would do is I would wait for Milwaukee to win the first quarter by 3 to 6 points and then live bet the Suns, ideally somewhere around 9.5. Now, this is ambitious that the books play ball, but that's kind of like, I don't like anything ahead of time. I don't like any bet at all pre-flop outside of the first quarter.
I don't think they're going to play ball with you to get you to 9 if you're only down 6 at the end of the first quarter.
But if it closes at 5,
if it closes at 5, you'll probably see a 7.5. I would bet maybe an 8. Again, I think the in-game numbers will be a little more cautious because, again, pre-game the bettors are moving this thing. Once you get in-game, you get the computer algorithm, and the computer I think likes Phoenix a little bit more than the public does in this game. Look, here's my strategy. Like I said, I laid the 4 last night before it moved to 4.5. I think this is an over game. This is played as an over series. I don't care that everyone whined about how game 2 ended. You got it back in game 3, which should have been a big over that ended up going under by a half somehow at the end. So I think this is going to be an over game 4. And I like Milwaukee to win the game. I just think Giannis is by far the best player in this series, especially now that he's healthy. And one thing we talked about, especially last series, the role players have played better at home for Milwaukee all postseason than they have away from home. So I think that's going to play a key role in tonight's game, where Milwaukee's, again, the second and third stars and Middleton and Holiday will play better at home. And then those bench pieces who have struggled away from home in a big way in this postseason, I think will be better tonight. And Milwaukee knots this thing up. But again, I still think Phoenix is the better team in the long run in this series, guys, like I said before.
Okay. I like it.
Bro, how do you do it, man? How do you do it? I mean, I just go
We
down.
got to know a little bit of everything, Barrett.
Right. They were just talking about numbers and everything else, man. It's just it sounds so simple when you're dealing with just numbers.
It's not. It's not. Hey, look, I will say this, though. It is nice having, like, today is usually the worst day of the sports calendar, usually.
Yeah.
The day after the Major League Baseball All-Star game, where you have nothing usually. It is a nice little change, at least for 1 year, to get us a legitimately important game,
Right.
obviously, an NBA Finals, where all the eyeballs should be tonight after them taking an extra day off. Very courteous of the NBA to not put their finals the same day of the All-Star game, which, again, the All-Star game was a little more entertaining than you would have expected last night for a 5-2 game in Denver.
Yep. No, you're right. And again, it doesn't matter where you play this game. It could be in space. The ball is not leaving the park consistently enough to hit double digits runs. It's not going to happen in an All-Star.
Pitchers are too good in the All-Star game.
Absolutely right.
As we just said today.
Yes. Now, you brought up something that I think the three of us can appreciate here, and the stream as well, which is I'm 42 years old, and I do not remember anything at all, especially in the last 10 years where sports betting has increased even illegally exponentially, where there has been something played tonight, right? It has always been, this is the worst night of the year. This is the most boring night of the year. There's no sports. Let's hope somebody gets in trouble in the NFL or somebody demands a trade in the NBA, like something. Yet we have like, this isn't even, and I'm not knocking, but this isn't Copa America. This isn't a golf tournament. This is game 4 of the NBA Finals. So this proxy alone, gentlemen, this should be the most watched game 4 in the NBA Finals history, right?
Yes, no question.
In theory, yes. In theory. Again, the one thing is viewers are regimental. And of course, last year, obviously, the regiment obviously was blown up for obvious reasons. But middle of July, a lot of people are on vacation. That's really the concern more than anything for the NBA, and why the ratings in this series just have not been as good as you would anticipate for again, we're solely in baseball now, other than these remaining 2 to 4 games in the NBA until again, I was hosting a nightcap on VSiN last night. Thank goodness we're a month away from even just preseason football again, guys.
Right.
Thank goodness we actually have again, I know we ended up with a regular season for the most part last year, but it'll be nice to be like, oh yeah, we have preseason games where, by the way, Barrett, you'll like this. Preseason games might be the most bet sharp sport of anything.
Are you kidding me?
Football.
Preseason NFL games, yes.
No, get out of here.
Yes,
Come on, man.
sharp bettors love preseason NFL games.
Well, but here's why. Because my guess is we saw this where it's the XFL all over again, where you can have an idea of what a Chiefs team looks like with Tyreek Hill, Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce playing for 4 quarters, but the books really haven't caught up on what a third stringer is going to do out there. So if you're mining training camp and you're looking at what a third or fourth string wide receiver can do, and this kid has talent that maybe he's not up on the depth chart for politics or other reasons, you can take full advantage, especially in game, I imagine, Jeff, when lines aren't adjusting as tight as they are regular season.
So there's a few reasons. First off, John Harbaugh does not lose in preseason. Just throwing that out there right now. The Ravens do not lose in the preseason. Why? I have no idea. But going into the 2019 preseason, and this actually, the streak continued until that lightning shortened game against the Eagles late in the 2019 preseason, where basically Harbaugh had covered 12 of his last 13 preseason games for the Ravens.
Wow.
There are a lot of trends like that where there are some teams that care about preseason. There are some that do not. The other thing is, too, we know how long players are playing for as well. Again, obviously, we know that everyone's starters are playing in a regular season, but there's a bigger gap between a team playing a second-string quarterback for 2 quarters in a game and Team B playing the third stringer for the 2 quarters in the game.
Right.
So it's more, like I said, what's going to, it's more telegraphed. And that's part of the reason that a lot of the sharps love betting NFL preseason. And you see, and also too, Barrett, unlike in regular season NFL, it's very rare without an injury that you see a line move more than, other than week 1, because the lines are up forever and ever and ever, and it's the first thing that people are looking at. It's very rare that you see a game move more than 2 points without a major injury. In the preseason, all it takes is sharp A, like, let's say the Jets are playing the Eagles. The Jets are favored by 4 points. The sharp thinks that line is wrong. Bet the Eagles +4. All right, the books are like, well, we put the line up wrong. Eagles now -3 off that one giant bet from the sharp. That happens all the time in preseason. Well, so it's one of those where if you think something's wrong early on a preseason line, hop in and bet it, because more times than not, the sharps are going to be thinking the same way as you.
Yeah, because Nick Sirianni and this Eagles team don't know who's what and what's who, and Hurts will probably get a major chunk of the reps. And you're right, man. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Nice little. This is the last thing. I showed this to the guys earlier, and yes. I think that it kind of. We're out of here, so don't worry. We're not going to hold you
Oh, you're good.
But this is something that I showed people because I don't think that a lot of people realize that if you just bet if you bet 100 bets at -110, you're going to win 52.4% of those, even if you have no freaking clue what you're betting on. It's just the return of it. So instead of just blindly throwing stuff out, a lot of these metrics can be used, return, break even base. It's called break even win percentage, can be used on what you're telling us now, right? You're giving us a play. You're giving us something to keep an eye on. You know, I really like the value at -160 when it dropped from -250, but I'm not going to go any lower than -130. Or on the flip side, I really love the value here at +130. I don't need to take that higher risk at +180, 85, even though the return is better because of the break-even win percentage. So just trying to add a little more. No, I know it's going to drive Barrett and Harry, the anti-analytics crowd, crazy, but just to apply a little bit more nuance, if you will, to the conversations. That's
more than anything, it just shows also, again, it kind of shows how hard this thing can be to make money in. Because you get a bad stretch where you're sitting in the mid-40s, you can lose a lot of money pretty quickly here. I mean, that's just the way it is. And look, and also too, guys, just keep in mind, parlays are sometimes they're fun. They're not always the best making money strategy. There's a reason that you see a lot of same game parlays pop up now on FanDuel, unless unless you're Eytan or really Lil Kenny, in all honesty. You're really really struggling more times than not to really make a lot of money parlay wise. But look, again, 52.5%. That's your gold number. That's what you need to do in order to make some money betting sports on your traditional -110 juice. And the one thing that in these newer jurisdictions that you have to be on the lookout for, it's not always -110 juice. So the higher that juice goes, if you're betting on a book that's a -115, -115 every way, or God forbid you're betting at a book that's -120, -120 either way, which my suggestion would be go find a different book if that's the case. You're making it exponentially harder on yourself if you're not betting at least at a regular -105, -110, -110 line. Or again, if you find a place with dime lines, which is -105 on each side, obviously it makes it a little bit easier because then you're looking at only 51.2% to break even.
Look at that. Numbers, info, everything. Have a great night, everybody. We're back on Thursday. We'll see you.